Hello, it's James's N-Scale Train Layout Project. I'm James. Thanks for showing up again. I've been documenting the construction of my first 4 by 8 foot N-Scale layout, having a great time, just enjoying the whole process and sharing it with folks on YouTube. Thanks for being here. As I mentioned before, I've been plastering this layout. Never plastered before, learned a lot, made a huge mess, not just one, but many, and loving where we're going with it. So I'm all plastered up. I made my mountain. You'd think I'd be ready to paint, right? Nope. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm looking at this layout and realizing it's my last opportunity to structurally make things that will provide me with places to build and model and develop for months, if not years in the future. So I really can't rush this time. I've got to really look at this layout inch by inch, and I know that seems like, oh, well, no, man, you want to get your trains running again, right? I do. But I also want this layout to be something that provides me with the stimulus of modeling and growing it for years to come. I can't do that with the track. The track is what it is, but the parts around the track I've really got to explore to the fullest extent. So there are a couple of places on the layout where I realize I still need to build structurally. I'm pulling out those plaster tools at least once more and really making sure that this thing is as right as it can be. Let's go ahead and take a look at the layout. I'll show you what I mean. I've got to say I am super pleased with the way the mountain turned out. I went ahead and installed the tunnels, made sure that they were as right as I could make them. And then I also put the retaining walls on, and I think they look pretty good. I know it's a little strange. Here's the stone ones with one in the front and one in the back, but you know, that's what my layout just called for, and I'll just have to suffer the repercussions from the modeling community. I don't know if that's something that's just commonly done or not, but the point is that I do think they came together pretty well. I had such a problem getting these things on straight that what I ended up doing was just attaching them to a piece of thin, like 1/16 inch styrofoam, and then attaching them that way, and they stayed a lot straighter. I also needed to be able to kind of build up some terrain in order to kind of help them make sense, and I'm going to continue to work on that. So that's one of the things that I was talking about. It's like I didn't realize till I put in the retaining walls that I really needed more structure to the layout in order to accommodate it. Same for this guy. You can see the retaining walls look all right, but they have to be, kind of looking like they're holding something up. So I've got to build out this area, and I also wanted to kind of have the mountain come out a little bit more and make some kind of fingery cool thing. So we'll see what that turns into. Anyway, that's one issue I'm dealing with. And then when I built the mountain and put it back on after building up for the retaining walls, look, I've got this really interesting crevice here that I never had before. So instead of just ignoring it or sticking a rock in there, what else can I do? And you will see what I've come up with at the end of this video, so hang loose. One more issue that needs to be dealt with. First off, I have been trying to build out this lake. As a new modeler, I didn't have to put like quite so much attention on the border there. I just didn't want the stuff to seep through, and they made it really clear, but I realized that I could have created a more natural border. So I'm working on that now with some rock faces, and I actually think it'll look kind of cool with the rock stick coming out of the water. So I'm doing that. And then speaking of water features, my other major water feature here is just kind of an I don't know what. So this is something I'm really going to have to adjust because it just seems like it takes up a lot of space. It's a very weird space, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. So I'm going to work on that. And what else did I need to do? You know, everything else is looking pretty good. Oh, well, of course, my water feature, I mean, that's got to be built before the rest of it's painted. So I'll be doing that in a future episode. And I got to figure that thing out, and I got to figure these things out. You know, I want these teeth, but unless I make it look somewhat natural, I think it'll look comical, and I'm not really going for that look. So these are the kinds of things that I need to just kind of deal with, and putting more rock faces on, not being crazy. I mean, that's a little bit crazy, but I think I've got a purpose, and I'm actually, you know, using it to actually extend the real estate of the layout. So I'm kind of cool with that. I also know that I've really got to work on things like, you know, things like the sides of the risers need something, or they're just going to be brown paint, and I don't want to do that. So those are all things I'm going to be working on, and I think that's it. But you know what? Geez, that's enough. So I'll tell you how I take care of each of those issues if you're interested, either in this episode or one's coming up. This is the layout as it is. We're getting there. Thanks for hanging in there. I'm James. This is James N-Scale Train Layout Project. So I did not think that I would still be dealing with glue and styrofoam at this phase of the project, but here I am needing to glue and styrofoam. Looking at this water feature and the very, very defined border that I originally created, I just realized that that was not going to be in the plan here in terms of a beach, which is what I wanted to build. So here I built it up with using a 1/2 inch of styrofoam that I had left over. It's good that you keep your styrofoam. It seems like it always comes in handy. And also, I've been working today on making this water feature smaller and just a little bit less sort of room to have to fill up with stuff. So both progressing very well. Okay, so it's been a couple of weeks, and I've been working on this layout, and I've been making some discoveries and changes and screw-ups and fixes. And it's been, you know, just a long couple of weeks of working on this project. And I am happy with where things are right now. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the layout. It is not painted yet because it's still being plastered. And you can see that there's still a lot of things that I needed to do and redo in order to make sure that these trains run on this layout. So let's take a look at the layout. It's coming up now. And here we go. Let's go ahead and just start left to right. I built up this little area up here a little better. I'm pretty happy with it. I made the mountain kind of fit in better with the top and the bottom, so I'm pretty happy with that. Just kind of continued to fix these retaining walls and try and see if we can get some bulk behind them, so working on that. Really happy with the way the water feature is developing structurally. I actually broke it down into several pieces. I'll show you that in just a minute, but really mellowed out the hard boundary I had before with some rocks and also just building up with the styrofoam as you saw earlier. So it don't look like much now, but I'm gonna really have a lot to work with and I'm really clear on what this is gonna become, and I have never done that before. So that's just been a really big advancement in this process for me. Okay, this still looks very strange, but I'll just be honest with you. I was not happy with sort of the generic look
and the weird sort of top that needed to be changed out. So I just created something with rock, and I used some of the carving plaster. I'm going to actually build that up a little bit more because I really do like those striations. I think they'll look great when they're colored. I'm just kind of seeing this as sort of a natural palm tree, or, you know, the bottom line is that I always wanted a stage, you know, so it still has a flat top. And I'm going to make this baby work. Don't you worry. Let's get some color on it, and I think it'll be interesting if nothing else. So coming over here, you know, I had to break apart my teeth because I got stupid with putting rocks on them and got to the point where, you know, my train was not going to be able to get through that. I had to tear out a bunch of them. I have to replace some of the road bed. It's just a lesson learned for me. I just got overzealous, but I think that they're looking okay, and I'm happy that I included them. And let's just see how those look when they get painted. Over here, the last water feature is looking a little smaller. I'm a little more comfortable with being able to deck this out. So, you know, that also was fixed, and those are the things that I needed to do, you know, before I start applying color to the layout. I am going to be building some rock, and I'm buying some of the rock that's going to go in the back here with the waterfall. So just stay tuned with that. I'll get that in a new episode, and it's just really coming together. So we're getting there. This is Plaster Central. I've just been doing this for weeks with this project, and definitely worth every minute of it. So thanks for being with me. This is James, and this is my first 4x8 N scale layout. Thanks a lot.